Mike, I'm afraid you're off.
Oh my God,
There you are.
All right, let's try that again. I'm Mike Broder, and with me is my effervescent co-host, Patty Hawkins.
Hello, folks. How you doing tonight?
And tonight we have our special guest. You want to introduce him?
This guest, you and I are both huge fans of his tremendous body of work. He is, I consider him to be one of the most versatile comic book talents of the previous and this century. Artist, writer, plotter, creator, created a lot of characters, dabbled in the entertainment, in the animation industry when he wasn't doing comics, and probably one of the funniest comic book professionals you'll ever meet in person, and we're about to find it out. So, GalaxyCon, we are proud to present the amazing Keith Giffen.
Yay. Yeah. Okay, there we go. There we go.
It's exciting, right, Keith?
Is it over yet?
It's everything you'd ever hope for. All your hopes and dreams.
There we go. There we go. Watch,
See,
I'm telling you, watch the dog come in and just knock the phone off because he's an arrogant fucker. Oh, can I say that?
You can say whatever you want.
Anything you want.
Okay. All right, good.
I don't think anybody's going to mind.
And you usually do, so, you know.
Yeah, that's about it. So, what are we doing here?
We're going to talk about stuff and things.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anything you want. So, what were you a fan of when you were growing up before you became a professional?
I was a comic fan. I was a comic book fan. I wasn't just DC or Marvel, although back then I was a fan of Marvel, Jack Kirby's work and the early Steve Ditko Spider-Man stuff. I used to love the Marvel monster books. I kind of resented the fact that they were taken over by superheroes. And my all-time favorite superhero, Giant Man.
So why Giant Man?
How ticked off I was when it took over. When I first heard Submariner was coming, I thought it would be Giant Man in Submariner. But comics and I really wasn't that unusual for most kids. You know, I like the horror movies, went to a Saturday matinee. Lord of the Rings, pick up on that early. But when I was 8 years old, I decided I wanted to do comic books. So I guess it worked.
So why Giant Man? What was it about Giant Man?
I don't know. I just there was something about the look. Believe it or not, I really liked him with that stupid costume with the antenna. I remember how angry I was when they switched him over to this helmet and this weird costume and all. I just liked Giant Man a lot.
Oh, when they made him Goliath?
Well, I was just so thrilled to have him back. And then when they made him Goliath, I was a little disjointed because it's not Giant Man, it's Goliath. And kind of lost interest in him at that point. I just... I've always bought and read comic books, most of it just to keep in touch with what's going on. But I really haven't had a major favorite since Giant Man, although Marvel still has my great unfulfilled comic book ambition, the one character that I drop everything to do.
Which is?
Captain America.
Oh.
Captain America. That's the one thing that I did a couple of Captain America covers for some reprints or something way back when, but I've never really got a chance to play with the character and see what kind of stories I could tell. Other than that, at DC, probably iVampire.
Oh.
Simply because I think if comics don't diversify, we're in a lot of trouble. So get some horror books out there. Get Sergeant Rock back.
I was actually a pretty big fan of Andrew Bennett and his vampire pathos. So I'm with you on that. And
was that Frank Thorne did it for a while?
Yeah, Frank did a little bit of it, and then who took over? Then Tom Sutton, I think, took over for a really good run for a while. Yeah. And of course, iVampire, co-created by your frequent collaborator, John Mark DeMatteis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And DeMatteis did it. Yeah. it's just I don't know. That seems to be look. My interest is turning away from superheroes, simply because I think it's overplayed. It's time to start getting some different concepts in comics. I keep asking people, where's the war comic? Where's the Western? Where's the romance comic? Where's the funny animal comic? Where's the humor comics? Where's the science fiction? Where's the horror? And it's just all superheroes and
Well,
being killed.
I think Image, publishers like Image, Dark Horse, now AWA are doing that kind of stuff, whereas Marvel and DC are really more focused on just doing superheroes, men in tights.
Yeah. Well, if you look at I mean, the book I hear the most, it keeps cropping up. I'm reading about comics or just best of lists, and this book is always cropping up. It's Lumberjanes.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yes.
Well, it used to be that if you came up with Superman, everyone else is going to do superheroes. You come up with Spider-Man, everyone's going to do superheroes with problems. But you come up with Lumberjanes, and most of the comic book people look at it and go, "Oh, that's a non-recurring phenomenon."
Well, so let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes I like to say that comic book retailers are a superstitious and cowardly lot, and they're not big to change. We saw a big influx of manga about 20 years ago in this country, and that
the problem with that manga was that we came in and we saw, look, just like any other business or any other publishing business, you got really, really good manga, and probably 80% of it really blows. It could be said about comics or paperback books or anything.
TV shows, movies,
really great stuff. Yeah, we got Akira, we got like Lone Wolf and Cub for a while there.
Yeah,
and now the stuff that's coming out is just, I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. And I know I'm not the age they're shooting for.
Sure.
But still, it just I look at it and I don't understand it. I don't see how that can work.
Collectively, with the manga invasion of the 80s, we got the absolute cream of the crop. We really kind of did. And anything that's really groundbreaking now is brand new to everybody over there. So that batting average, that top 5% is we're getting as it comes along, but there's none that this boom is we're getting it. So a lot of stuff is going on into is average, and it's not necessarily bad, and certainly can't argue its success.
I don't know if I look. All right, you can't argue with success. And when you put out an idea, all you can hope is that people will buy it so it becomes a success. But to judge, how many times a movie come out and it's been wildly successful and you've gone, how the hell did that happen? To you, it's a horrible movie. It's just, you never look, the Twilight series. Mm-hmm. People who like vampires in movies have been recovering from that for years. I don't know. I don't understand it. It doesn't work for me. But it was insanely popular. So anytime you put an idea out there, be it a comic book or anything, you're rolling dice. You don't know. I mean, when Mark and Kevin and I did Justice League, during the period when it was first solicited and the period when it came out, that couple of month period, we thought we blew it. We honestly thought we blew it. And I remember before the sales figures came in, Kevin was looking around and making inquiries for people who might need an artist. Mark and I were both looking for our next project after we got thrown off of Justice League. And when the book came in the way it did, believe me, no one was more surprised than us. Nobody was more surprised than us. We thought we laid a major egg. And that's why I felt. That's why I felt about everything when I did those first 4 issues of Lobo. I thought, okay, I got 4 issues to this absolutely reprehensible character, and it's going to die. And DC had so much faith in me, so much faith in Lobo, and so much faith in me that they gave me Simon Bisley, who back then Simon's a maniac on the page, and a lot of people up at DC look
and in person.
Like, let's put him on the Lobo book. That's going to die. We don't have to deal with him. So every book I've had that was successful has come as a surprise. And the books I thought would succeed, like The Heckler, I thought it would succeed. Nosedives. So I'm not a good one. I'm not a good one to come to and go, what's the next trend? I have no idea. All I know is it's not superheroes.
Well, the DC's trying again now. They're putting out the young adult graphic novels. And so the other thing that's been selling very well on top of manga are these young adult books like Raina Tagemeyer, her stuff that's reaching, a teenage audience. And so now DC is trying to tap into that with, I think they did a Batgirl thing, Patty. They did a Gotham.
Well, they did the Gotham High one. That's the one that everybody talking about. And I skimmed through it, and it was good for what it was. It was a young adult graphic novel wearing Batman underoos, and that's not a criticism. That's just literally an observation of it. So it's one of those bridge things where I think if you got to bring in this new audience, this is the way to indoctrinate them, and hopefully they keep going into the comic side of the spectrum.
But the traditional floppies.
I'll be right with you guys. Don't worry, I'm just trying to get this phone plugged in so it doesn't die on you.
No problem.
Okay, there we go. That's better.
But the traditional floppies don't seem to be the way to get new young readers.
What? The traditional what?
The floppies, the traditional floppies. The regular comics don't seem to be the way to get young readers in now.
No, but they're not. They're not the way to get any readers in. Look, basically, we are 4-color Jehovah's Witnesses going door to door handing out pamphlets. And you can get the Jehovah's Witness pamphlet for free. It's just as made up, and it's just as funny, really. Okay, there goes a portion of our audience.
I don't think we're going to lose much here.
But you can't. I mean, like here. Look, what other business do you? Maybe there are other businesses that do this, but I don't know any business that does it as often as comics does. And as you have a character, Harley Quinn, right? That's probably a bad choice because she wasn't even created by comic book people. She was created by an animated show, but let's use her anyway.
Yep. And
they put her out in a book, and she appears in Batman books on TV. She's insanely popular, very popular. So of course DC's going to want to put out a Harley Quinn comic, right? But that's what you should do. Don't put out 12 of them. Don't have her show up in every single book. I don't care if you love vanilla better than any other ice cream flavor. If I feed it to you every day for a year, you don't like vanilla. And that's what comics are. We're just plowing the same field over and over. And if I see another Firestorm book, I swear to God, I'm going to go.
So, all right. So, Keith, you've worked with a lot of great creators in your career. Is there anyone so who are some of your favorite guys that you did work with? And who are some people you wish you had worked with that you didn't get the chance?
Okay, when you say favorite guys, I'm going to throw a couple of names out here, and please, those of you whose names I forget, I've only worked with two people that I've actively disliked. That I've actively said, no, I'm not going to work with these people, and I'm not going to tell their names. But in terms of people I would work with, if they called me tomorrow, I wouldn't care what project it was I'd work with. Would be like Howard Porter, Scott Collins, Colleen Doran. Well, that's that. There we go. That worked that out, didn't it? Yeah, I always believe if you got to stand here and really think about it, like who else? I'd love Jason Pearson to come back. He's been out of the field for too long.
Yeah.
But and basically, like when I was a kid, when I was a comic book fan, like right now, I know everyone says, "Oh, you're Kirby influenced." Yes, I am, and there's no one better to be Kirby than Kirby to be influenced by. But when I was a kid, I followed Gene Colan around. I mean, when he was doing Iron Man, when he was doing Daredevil, even that Dracula book, I just followed. He was the guy, and I think the reason I like Gene Colan so much, and the reason that I can choose people that I like Howard Porter or Colleen Doran. I tend to like people whose stuff I couldn't come close to. I could never do what Colleen Doran does, or I could never do or I couldn't do it the way these people do it. So I can approach it and I can appreciate them as a fan as well as a professional. And in terms of writers, though, again, it's just any writer I've worked with. It's like some have been great, some have been okay. Whether they're old pros like Paul Levitz was, or Jerry Conway, or new writers just coming up like Tom and Mary Bierbaum on the Legion, or Tom King. That's weird. That's actually a contemporary writer whose work I like. And the reason I like Tom King is that he writes the comics. He's unforgiving. He writes the stories he wants to tell. And then the company usually gets a little pissed off at him. And I think that's part of it.
Did you read?
If you haven't got an editor up there that's pissed off at you, you're not doing your job.
You would know that more than anybody else.
Yeah, well, I'm easy to get along. I'm kind of easy to get along. Look, it's going to sound weird, but when I first broke into the business, I was tossed in with people like Julie Schwartz before all the craziness, Murray Boltinoff, Ernie Colon, just these guys have been doing this stuff for such a long time. And when they said to me, "Don't do that," and I said, "Why?" They could explain it, and 9 times out of 10 they were right. I'm 67 now. Do you honestly think I'm going to listen to some 24-year-old guy fresh out of whatever school he went to, who landed in comics because it was the job that was... No. So I am difficult. I'm kind of difficult to work with certain editors. Only because, you hired me to do it. I've been doing it for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Leave me the fuck alone. Just get out of the... If the sales tank, get rid of me. Get rid of me. No hard feelings. Just get rid of me. But if it really sells well, don't come to me and say, "Here's how we can fix the book." If it's selling well, it doesn't need fixing. So just go stand in a corner over there, move the papers across your desk, and draw your paycheck for whatever ridiculous reason you're drawing it, because it certainly isn't to help me.
So who?
And there are people up at DC though who that does not apply to. I'm not making a blanket. I'm not making a blanket statement. There are really good people there. People like Marie Javins at DC, Mark Panicia at Marvel. At least I think he's still at Marvel. They're people who know the business and also know when to back out. And that's important to me, that somebody knows when to back away.
So who in the industry have you not worked with that you would love to do a project with?
Most of them are dead. Tom King. I want to do something with Tom King. I don't care what it is either. I just like his writing. Well, that's that.
Okay.
That's that. It's just I can't think of Like the thing is that usually if an artist comes along that I really like working with, like Bill Christevely, I get them early so I can say I worked with him. You know, like I thought her work on Sugar and Spike was just about some of the best. She was one of the best artists I worked with for ages because she understood how to tell the story. You like how I keep cutting my head off here? It's just I'm too aware of format, I think. You know, just thinking, yeah, it's just, but yeah, it's not. It's not whether or not I personally think the artist is commercial. It's if I can just get through the job without any craziness, you know, and if they're competent, and I think majority of them are.
Is
You know,
just don't want any surprises. And of course, when you plot a book, you're very famous for you do your own little layouts, send it out to them anyway. So you have done a lot of their work for them already.
I used to tell the artists coming on the book, this is the way I plot. This is the way I tell a story. So if you don't feel like following the plot, you don't have to follow the layouts as long as the information on the page is relayed. Lately, I tell them, follow it. Just follow it. So I want to see that. Just follow it. You know, and it's not, again, I don't consider it their fault. What it is like I say, when I came into the business, I had Julie Schwartz and Ernie Colon and Dick Giordano pretty much on my back all the time. You know, no, this is the way you tell a story. No, this is the way you spot the blacks. No, this is the way you know, this is the way the anatomy works. This is how to make it dynamic or how to foreshorten. These guys coming into the business right now, if you're an artist, if you're lucky, you know, Jim Lee will have time to talk to you. Other than that, I mean, where do they go? What, are they going to go to School of Visual Arts to learn how to be a comic book artist? No. You know, it's like,
you know what?
Here's the weird thing about it. When you go in with your portfolio to a comic book company to get your job in cartooning, how long did it take you to do that portfolio? Let's say it was your entire fucking life. And then we're going to give you a job and go, we need it in 24 days. Go to it.
Yeah.
You kind of need, you kind of could use somebody there to teach you how to manage your time, or just, you know, to ease your mind a little bit.
There's we've spoken with veterans before, and we sort of lament your generation enjoyed mentorship. You know, you would get small assignments, and then the editor would say, "No, do this way too." Okay, I'll give you a backup story in Weird War Tales. I'll do a little 6-pager here, a 7-pager there. I have time to criticize and do all this. Now it just seems like, okay,
boom, you're on camera.
This looks good.
Boom, you're on the Avenger.
Yeah.
No, I can remember getting little ghost story. I screwed up really badly getting in the industry, so I was really on probation. But I used to work on ghosts and stuff like House of Secrets, Unexpected. Then when they saw that I was capable of making a deadline now, they put me on the Dr. Fate backup in the Flash. They weren't going to give me any lead features. Because back then, the aspiration was to get Superman or Batman. Those were the two big ones, to work your way up to Superman or Batman. And the only reason I got Legion of Superheroes was because the artist abruptly left and they didn't know who they were getting. And it was Paul Levitz who said, you know, let me try Keith. He did a few backups in the Legion. I like the way he did it. So I give Paul all the credit. I never would have gotten Legion of Superheroes if Paul hadn't backed me. Mm-hmm. And then it's just making the deadline and trying to prove you're worth something.
Yeah.
You know, then it's up to you.
You also got to work early on with some really big guy. Like you worked with Wally Wood on those JSA stories.
All-Star.
Yeah.
All-Star, yeah.
So you had guys there that had chops that you could, you know, learn from. Yeah,
well, I did the breakdowns for All-Star Comics for Woody. I was just thrown on the book. I mean, it was weird. Okay, you're doing breakdowns. Well, really, what are breakdowns? And they told me what breakdowns were. Then they told me, oh yeah, Wally Wood's going to be the finisher. And this is literally, I walked in the door at DC and I was handed it to Wally Wood. And I think I talked to Wally once. Once I had an actual conversation with Wally Wood, and that was not about art, it was about Power Girls' breasts. And he told me that every issue that goes by, he's going to make them bigger and bigger and bigger until DC tells him to stop. If you want to know how Power Girl became the busty superheroine, that was it. It was bigger and bigger until they told me to stop. And
God bless you, Wally. God bless you.
Yeah. Then he enjoyed doing it so much that he asked to take over the book. So that's when I left the book. And then he left 2 issues later. And I said, what happened there? I thought you had Wally Wood on the book. He goes, yeah, he didn't realize that you were doing the breakdowns. When he had to do the breakdowns himself, it was too much like work, so they left. But I've gotten really lucky with working with a lot of people. But when you figure the All-Star era, that was when I was busy blowing myself out of the business. The Defenders, Wood God, those kind of things. Klaus Janson saved that job. That was Klaus's job. I'm still stunned that they haven't brought Wood God into the Guardians of the Galaxy's movies. Just because why not? Well, no, Wood. I never understood the concept behind Wood God. I really didn't. He's a big fawn. I don't know if Matlow really quite understood either, but no, Bill. He's there. Bill used to throw stuff out there. He had a pretty lively creative urge, But the early period, forget it. I got to the. I remember leaving DC after having a screaming session with Paul Levitz where our noses were this far apart, and he screamed at me, "You fucker! You'll never work in this industry again." A year and a half later, he approved me for Legion of Superheroes. So I don't know what happened there, but I must have done something right. Yeah, just always come back. Hey, you got better, and you could make a deadline. That was basically it. I could make a deadline, and what I did for some odd reason, the fans seemed to like. So, that's why. Like, I never lose fat. I tried never lose to lose the one reason, or to forget the one reason that I'm still in the industry after over 30 years. It's because people are out there still buying my stuff. It's the fans. It's no miracle of my. It's not because I got the plum job or because I'm good buddies with the editor. I was friends with Dan Didio or whatever. It's that the fans, the readers, bought the books. They liked the books. They continued to buy the books. I got lucky. I got really, really lucky. I still consider myself lucky.
Keith, a lot of people don't. Back in 84, 85, it was you, DC, it was you and George Perez. You were the 2 top selling artists in the company, right? I think you were the top, they gave you both had the Baxter books.
No. Wait. I don't know if there's, I can't say, I don't know about artistic popularity because I really tried not to, let that affect me. All I know is that Teen Titans was the best-selling book at DC, and Legion of Superheroes was number 2.
Right, and that's
I was quite comfortable. I was quite comfortable chasing George.
But you have Marvin George on that book, and then you and Paul on the Legion of Superheroes, and those were the 2 top books for the company. Yeah. So
sad, isn't it?
I don't think so.
that your run on that was, I mean, for the Great Darkness saga is the synonymous storyline always attached to Legion of Superheroes.
The Great Darkness, and what bothers me, I keep seeing the Great Darkness saga keeps turning up on everyone's best story. The best comic book stories. The Great Darkness is in there.
It's yeah, but here's
not many people when Paul Levitz, when he was trying to talk me into doing the Legion, he goes, "I got this thing, called the Great Darkness coming up, and you know who the villain is?" I said, "Who?" And he goes, "Darkseid." Back then, nobody cared about Darkseid. As far as anyone knew about DC, he was on the failed New Gods book, and I went, okay. There was no real, oh my God, Darkseid's gonna be great. No, it was just, I have a book. I'm going to do good on it. I'm going to do the best I can on it and get the damn thing in on time. That was it. It wasn't like the Great Darkness was not planned out to be what the Great Darkness became.
I absolutely believe that.
Just like Justice League. Justice League was never planned to be what it became.
I will definitely say, though, it was one of, and I'm sure Mike appreciates this, it was one of Supergirl's finest moments in Legion's history when Superboy gets knocked on his ass, but Kara is still there, still duking it out with Darkseid.
The only thing that upset me about that was that it was that Supergirl with those ridiculous red hot pants.
Yes, they were great.
No. Look at if you want to put Supergirl, look at Legion 3000, Justice League 3000. That's Supergirl.
Look, I was a young man when she was in those hot pants.
Yeah, I'm a fan of her thigh-high go-go boot era, but that's just me.
Yeah, I just thought, yeah, okay, fine. I'm gonna go back to Lex Luthor. Where's my hot pants? No.
Justice League 3000 with Howard Porter.
Yeah, and she's got a symbol here. She's got a symbol here. She's got oh, Jesus, no.
No, but Keith, I don't know about Patty, but when I was younger, I loved the Supergirl strips in Adventure because she was always constantly changing her outfit, and I always thought, well, sure. Wouldn't you? It was like the Wasp in the Avengers. Wouldn't you keep changing your costume? Why would you have the same uniform to go to do this all the time? There's no, so I enjoyed that Supergirl always changed things up.
Oh, I could see that. I've always thought, that it's weird that they always wear the same costume.
Right.
But that's just part of the suspension of disbelief, and comic books to this day are still just male adolescent power fantasies. That's all they are.
And also with the Supergirl stories in Adventure, they used to let fans write in with their drawings and they would publish them.
Right.
And so they would include
then put Supergirl in that costume.
Yes.
It's horrifying.
Yes. Awful. It's great. It's great.
Not unlike on Legion, where the fans would get to vote who the leader of the Legion would be every year, and creatively you guys would have to swallow that pill.
Like Dream Girl, yeah. And not many people remember that Dream Girl was the leader of the Legion during the Great Darkness saga.
Yes.
It could have been worse. It could have been Karate Kid.
Oh yes, Karate Kid.
Well, you took care of him
twice,
many times. They keep bringing him back many times.
You've been a man on a mission.
Yeah. Everyone asks me, what have you got against Karate Kid? Just say his name. Now tell me his superpower and say it slowly. So
I want to show you something. You enjoy this? This is by Fred Hembeck. Brought this on just for you.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Yeah. There we go. There it is. Jesus Christ.
I literally tonight on my own Facebook page, I'm going with Keith Giffen, a man who's more proud of the fact that he's killed off Karate Kid twice than he is that he co-created Lobo and Rocket.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'm much proud of that.
Do you have a favorite Legionnaire?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, yeah, I do. Cosmic Boy.
Okay. Rock.
I like Rock. And the female Legionnaires will be Shrinking Violet.
Ooh.
Which is probably why I took her powers away and scarred her for life.
Oh, you hurt her. You hurt her.
Yeah.
I
And by the way, none of that stuff was me just saying, oh, I think I'll screw with this character. I think I'll hurt that character. I had their names in a hat. And when I was doing it, I said, okay, somebody's got it. Okay, pluck a name. Okay, I'll do it to her. You know?
Well, you also built her up as a character. You made her stronger by going through the.
Well, you know, it was weird because everyone talks about like, oh, how progressive. They have a gay character. And yet, you know, Isla and Vi were a couple way before anyone really realized it.
Yeah.
We had Element Lad and, you know, Vi and Isla. So, you know, I get bored easy, so I have to do something like that.
Wasn't Starboy thrown together with Dream Girl because there were fan rumors that he was gay originally? I had heard something like that a couple of years ago.
I have no idea why they were thrown together. I just thought I thought that's kind of interesting. It's just, but it just didn't make any sense. It didn't make it. I like certain things in the Legions, just in any book, it didn't make any sense. I just looked at them and went, you know.
You can't tell me that Matter Eater Lad didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I liked Matter Eater Lad, as a matter of fact.
Love Matter Eater
Lad.
And that's something that I really appreciated on your run when you were able to get more in the plotting stages and everything else too, is you did look at a lot of stuff in Legion lore and you were like, how did this actually happen? I love that one Valor annual where you basically show the origin of, okay.
That was Tom and Mary.
That was Tom and Mary. Okay, then credit to them then. The Dominators took a bunch of humans, mutated them. People can eat everything. These people can develop magical powers. Let's send them on a planet and let them fend for themselves.
Yeah, that was Tom and Mary. I felt bad for Tom and Mary when they were on the Legion because here I was rampaging through, kicking stuff over, and they're probably two of the biggest Legion fans on Earth. So a lot of times when I tell them what I'm going to do, there would be this long silence on the phone. You know, like, yeah, I'm going to kill Block. And it'd be,
oh, God.
I got to admit, that hurt. That hurt.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. That was just me trying. I was trying to do something different. I find it real hard to go. I'm not a good caretaker of a book because I find it real hard to go on a book and not shake it up a bit and try to find something different in the character.
I think that's what you got to do, and I think any again, like you said before, if anybody brings you on a book, they got to know what they're in for. You're gonna shake it up, and you did that.
Got to know what it means.
And you've come into a lot of books in your career as the cleaner. You've got a book that started out and somebody just threw their arms up, walked away, and Keith, can you do the last 4 issues of this?
Yeah. Can you do the last 4 issues of this, or here? Play with this and we'll cancel it in 3 months. That's the thing I hear the most. You know, we're canceling the book in 4 months. Here, play with it. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So
sometimes I succeed, and sometimes I fail abjectly.
So
you know,
if you were to say to somebody, what are the 3 or 4 books, story arcs of somebody who was going to jump into something from your career that you think are defining moments, and you wanted somebody, what are like 3 or 4 good?
And you chased him away.
We lost him.
He's not going on record on that. His power might have gone out, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. To kill some time, then what 3 of his body's work would you recommend to somebody? I want to introduce you to Keith Giffen. Boom. Try these on for size.
I mean, I think those first 7 issues of Justice League,
definitely.
You know, with DeMatteis and Maguire, I think. I love Video Jack. I think Video Jack was a quirky, cool, self-contained story. I think the Great Darkness Saga is a great, entry to the Legion.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Definitely would do. Not picking up, duplicating yours.
You can duplicate mine.
That would be a good variety. I think I would add to yours. So this way, I would definitely add on the Hell on Earth graphic novel, his adaptation of Robert Bloch's story of scientists.
Sure. Yep. I know you love that.
Summon the Devil. Yeah, I absolutely adore that one. I really. People laugh when I say this, but I liked his Eclipso run.
Yep.
I like the fact that Eclipso was always this kind of C-list weird Jekyll and Hyde DC Silver Age villain nobody quite knew what to do with. They jacked him up, made him an evil demigod, and it was kind of like, okay, just have fun with it. So I think he really just sort of like did a lot of experimental stories in the DCU in the continuity. So it's like, okay, let's have a big Suicide run and let's kill off a bunch of like D-list characters we want to revamp. Let's do an historical story. Ted McKeever did the artwork on a 2-parter where Eclipso went up against.
Remember that?
Sherlock Holmes. Just some really good experimental stuff. And I'm also a big fan of Invasion. I think when people talk about the big crossover event,
Invasion was great.
Invasion just, for some reason, doesn't last in anybody's head because it was very logical. It was very, okay. I love the fact that Captain Atom was named, basically, you are the Supreme Commander of Earth's superheroes during this event. I loved how some of the magic characters got involved.
I love the concept that you've got every alien race who, bands together finally to just take care of Earth because we just keep getting in everyone's business.
Exactly. Exactly. Or collectively, they've all tried to conquer us individually, and they're just like, let's just get rid of this insignificant speck. And I think it absolutely was a blast. I think that was the last really big McFarlane thing he did for them, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he took. Oh no, was it year 2? Anyway, I get confused. But I remain an unabashed Invasion fanboy, especially for the scene when Deadman's page, which I won't do a spoiler on, but one thing I love about Keith's work when he comes onto something, he really. And I think all good creators, when they come onto any sort of existing book, from Alan Moore, John Byrne, everything else, they look at the totality.
Hang on, Patty. Paul's asking what book Eclipso. Paul, in the 90s, there was an Eclipso crossover with the DC, with all the DC characters, and then Eclipso had his own book. So it's just Eclipso. Yeah. And it didn't run long. It ran a year and a half. Not
even. I think it tapped out around issue 9 or 10. Maybe a little longer.
I don't remember but it was a fun book.
It had the thrill of that anything could happen, and anything could happen in the DC superhero universe. So you didn't have to necessarily worry about a supporting character or anything else other than Bruce Gordon and there was a. And yeah, they did. And again, Keith does love to kill off characters that nobody will stand up and fight for. So he went, but curiously enough, I remember one of them he killed off was the female Dr. Midnight, who just got introduced.
Well, that was in issue 13.
Yes. The Slaughter issue.
Wildcat 2, just a bunch of characters in that issue that he just took out.
Yeah, and he just and so funny too. She just got reintroduced in the Stargirl premiere.
Did you watch it?
I haven't yet. It's sitting. It's on my list. Definitely.
I read some stuff online that it was fun and it was good and people were raving about it. So I want to watch it. I'm excited to see it.
That stripe that they built for it
looks great.
I know. I'm like, that throws the gauntlet down to cosplayers. That's for sure.
And the cast on that show.
Yes.
Have you seen the cast? I mean, Joel McHale's on this thing. Amy Smart's on this thing. Luke Wilson's on this thing.
No, it's very solid, and
Lou Ferrigno.
Really? What's he doing?
Lou Ferrigno is playing Hourman.
Oh, no kidding. Then I am definitely psyched for that.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, Lou Ferrigno Jr.
Okay,
it's Lou Ferrigno Jr. So it's Lou's son.
All right, so he's playing the young version. Okay,
Lou's son's playing Hourman.
All right, I could take that.
Yeah, and it's asking when's it supposed to premiere? It premiered last night, right?
I believe so.
So I think you can catch it on the CW online, whatever streaming service CW goes through. I'll have to figure that out later tonight.
No problem. Yeah, Courtney is one of those characters that I didn't think I would like, but like, okay, another perky girl who's with the adult heroes, but she won me over. Jeff Johns really poured his heart into that character because, again, he was based off of his deceased sister, so he really did it right. And I'm.
Oh, so Patty,
yeah.
Joel McHale is Sylvester Pemberton.
Okay.
Ferrigno Jr. is Rex Hourman. Henry Thomas from E.T. is Dr. Midnight.
Ooh.
John Eagler says it's on DC Universe also.
Okay.
Nelson Lee is Dragon King. Stella Smith, Artemis Croc. Neil Hopkins is Sportsmaster. Joy Asmonsky is Tigress.
I've seen the pictures of the principals in those costumes. They look good. I like the Sportsmaster looks really good.
Yeah, and then you've got Luke Wilson is Stripe, and Amy Smart is the mom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cool cast.
That was when I heard they were developing that. Then I was down for it. I thought that's a really it's a really good protagonist with a very fertile, mineable background of all kinds of guest appearances.
Did you ever think you'd live to see the day of Hourman on a TV show?
No. No, I never thought I'd live to see that. Well, I've said this before. It's like we're talking about the first Avengers movie earlier. I just never thought I'd live to see that, or at least see it done to a level that I would enjoy it so much. That was just the characters were right. I'm sorry again. I'm sorry you were denied the Hulk disguised as a robot circus clown juggling elephants.
You know what? I and Rick Jones and the Teen Brigade. I don't know how I'm ever gonna. I still am a bit surprised that Rick Jones has not wormed his way into. I thought for sure they'd bring him into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point. I don't know. What are you going to do with the character in this world?
Make him the internet genius guy, and the Teen Brigade is now the international hackers that. Oh, we'll break into the Hydra base, no problem. We're in. Hey, the MacGuffin is at so and so. But of course, if you bring in Rick Jones, then you got to bring back Snapper Carr. Which, oddly enough, if we get Keith back, Keith actually did something with Snapper Carr. He actually blasters. Yeah. So
the one thing that came off of Invasion.
Blasters. Well, that and the Legion 88, 89.
Yeah. With
the proto with Quirrell Docs, Brainiac 2, theoretically.
Brainiac 2.
Yeah.
I would say.
He's been a character that's popped up occasionally.
I would imagine that Keith's phone died.
He did mention didn't want the power to go down.
Yeah. That's the technology in the 21st century.
Yes, indeed. What?
So there's new comics this week, Patty.
So I have heard.
What are we getting this week?
What's coming out? I really don't know. I'm just always like, okay, what dropped this week? What else too? You tell me. You're more on that than I am. Let's see. Hold on.
I'm looking at the list. So DC's got. Let's see. Anything? Justice League 44, Justice League Odyssey 20, okay. Nightwing 70. Oh, that's second print. Plunge. So for those that don't know, Diamond started shipping books again this week to comic stores for the first time in 2 months.
Yeah.
They closed their warehouses, and so there is a small group of books hitting into the stores this week. John Edward wants to know about Strange Adventures. John, I don't see Strange Adventures. I see from DC a bunch of hardcovers and trade paperbacks. But Batman 89 third printing, Batman Giant number 4, Daphne Byrne number 4, DC's Deceased Unkillables number 3, Dollhouse Family number 6. I mean, it's still pretty bleak, but the 2 Justice League books. Let's see what Marvel's got. I don't think Marvel has any books this week.
Okay. If we don't get him back, I was going to ask Keith to relate. He told me this story on stage at GalaxyCon Raleigh last year. We talked about his work on Annihilation Wave, and of course, which was, and again, that it was so overshadowed by Civil War because that was getting national attention, and Annihilation Wave was just this really odd thing. And in his exact words, he said, "We thought we were doing a great job, and we were doing too big of a job." And according to his word, the editor-in-chief of Marvel came on in, threw an Annihilation Wave down on the table in a meeting and said, "This is the best DC book we are publishing right now."
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what his exact words. "This is the best DC book we are publishing right now." And somehow, yeah.
All right, I'm going to try giving Keith a call. I'm going to mute myself for a minute.
No problem. I am going to look at some of our live comments out there. So, hello, Leonard, Patrick, John. Oh, Sandy's in here. Go to the Paul Wessler, Strange Adventures. Wonder if they're going to try a crossover with that. Yes, Paul, you're right. It is correct. It is the female version of Wildcat. I believe her name was Yolanda in the comics. I remember it was very Jerry Ordway drew her very nicely, and I'll leave it at that. But these are younger kids, so we're not going there. So John Hitler, Dana, look at the CW app. Was supposed to premiere. Did I miss it? John, here I guess the Great Darkness Saga is his answer. You may not be wrong on that, John. So,
all right. So, you there, Patty?
Yep, I'm here. Been talking to our people in our chat room here.
Just have some technical difficulties, and we're gonna bring him back next week with Gustavo.
Okay.
And we'll wrap up then. So we'll have a part 2.
Sounds good. We hope our audience will join us. Absolutely. Sorry about this. Sometimes.
And then at the end, we'll put it all together and edit it as one, one thing.
It's one thing indeed. So,
all right. So,
Mike, what are you looking forward to this week?
We've got the GalaxyCon Live stuff. I got William Shatner on Saturday that you're going to be hosting, so that's kind of cool.
Certainly,
we did a test with him yesterday.
Awesome. We've got we've got some Walking Dead actors on Friday, and we also have My Hero Academia on Saturday as well at after Shatner, and our friend the Eternal Power Ranger himself, Jason David Frank, on Sunday.
And then I'm excited that there are comic books going into stores again this week. So, maybe, the industry won't go the way of the dodo bird.
Let's hope not. Remember, everybody, call up your local comic
for another day.
Yeah, well, I tell everybody, call up your local comic shop, see how they're doing it. Maybe they're doing curbside. Maybe they're doing anything. The whole fact of the matter is support them however you can. And in the end, they will always support us.
And we'll bring back Keith next week. So join us next. And we've got Gustavo Duarte from Dear Justice League, Guardians of the Galaxy, Bizarro, and the designer of the Galaxy Girl and G-Bot mascots that you can see behind Patty right now. And I've got, G-Bot right here with me. And, we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Until then, folks, be safe, be well, have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we hope you'll be joining us this weekend for our live virtual hangouts. If not, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, folks. Take care.
I guess.